Hey everyone out there, this is Tony the Happy Stingray coming at you once again. Today we're going to be talking about the Oculus Rift and the Vive, the HTC Vive, the VR headset where you put your phone in to it and you get the VR look. Anyway, getting right into it. So, have a couple of problems. We'll talk about that in a second. First up is the asking price of $600 to pre-order the Oculus Rift. Is it too much? Is it not enough? In my opinion, it might be. It probably is. But it's not just the $600, and we're going to get into that real quick in a second. We're going to come back to that. The hardware requirements, if you go to the Oculus Rift's website, the hardware requirements are as listed. The video card that is required is an NVIDIA GTX 970 or an AMD R9 290, AMD R9 290 equivalent or greater. So what that means is you either have to have pretty much what everyone's putting in their gaming rigs nowadays to have a high-powered PC, or greater. So you got to drop, anywhere between, you got to get a GTX 970, or you have to drop $1,100 on a much better card. It's just no big deal. So then your processor, the Intel i5 4590 equivalent or greater. They don't list an ATI processor, but that's probably in the equivalent or greater market. You can do the statistics out if you want. I don't have them. So we have 8 gigs of RAM. You have to have an available HDMI output, which I'll get back to in a sec, and 3, count them, 3 USB 3.0 ports, and and 1 USB 2.0 port. And you have to have Windows 7 or newer. So speaking from my rig here, which is not fantastic by any stretch of the means, I'm already using HDMI output on my graphics card to my monitor. Okay, so I have 8 gigs of RAM. The i5, my processor doesn't come anywhere close. My computer is about 5 years old. And my graphics card comes nowhere close to a GTX 970. Nowhere close. It's an AMD. And I should know the specs, but I don't. Moving on, I do not have that many available USB ports, especially 3.0s. I don't know if you do, and if you do, then you do not do these kind of videos or streaming or recording or of any matter, because that is a crazy amount of USB ports. I know you can get a hub, but you shouldn't have to get a hub just to get a hub for your eyes. You know what I mean? So then you think to yourself, or then I would think to myself, well, what the hell do you get for paying this kind of money? You get 3 whole games. You get 3 games that come with it, and one of them is Eve, and we all know how that game is going right now. So I started to look elsewhere, other people's opinions on it. Worth a Buy, which is a very great channel, did a video on it, and he said that when he was using the DK2, which is the Oculus Rift Developers Kit 2, which they sent him, he said he couldn't even read the text while playing Elite Dangerous, like the text on the HUD or the names of the ships or the names of the systems. So, that's not unplayable, but it makes the game very unenjoyable, because now you can't even jump systems. So now he probably just sat around a nav beacon or some sort of mineral extraction site and just started bounty hunting, which is boring. That is boring. I mean, if you're starting out, bounty hunting is great, but it's not, I would not want to go through an entire game not reading text. That's just ridiculous. So if either the Vive or the Rift could fix that, then that would definitely be a good selling point for them, but in the meantime, it just doesn't seem worth the money. And if you're not tech savvy enough to replace or upgrade your hardware, like say you need a better graphics card or you need a better processor or what have you, Oculus Ready computers start at $999 or $1,000 minus the shipping. So now your startup, if you are not tech savvy enough or haven't invested in a computer already, and this is where you want to start your journey into PC gaming land, you're now set back already $1,600. And you get 3 games, and the few that are out there that support VR, but they're coming. let's be optimistic a little bit for a second. They're coming. And that's all I can say about that. My personal issues are the cost of the unit and the possibly required upgrades if you don't already have a super crazy gaming rig. To even use the unit, to even use the VR headset. So, like I said, the hardware requirements are crazy. You have to have an advanced, up-to-date gaming rig to even be able to use those 3 games. And even then, you can't read the damn text in the first place. I don't know if they fixed that on the retail model that they're selling now, or that you're able to pre-order. I don't know if they fixed that, but if they haven't, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. I can't imagine that they would release it without fixing something like that. I would hope that the people who had the DK2 reported that, and they were like, oh shit, we got to fix this. So anyway, it's a new, unexplored world, and that's going to come with a lot of new problems. For example, think about anything else that's been innovated like this. The Wii U gamepad came with huge amounts of backlash. Developers didn't want to code for it, so they had no support. The PlayStation Move and the Kinect, developers didn't want to code for it, so it had no support. Like, you see this growing trend here? Like, a lot of these are really great ideas, and they really could have gone somewhere. They just were not introduced at the correct time. I don't really feel that I could get behind the Oculus with that right now. And although it would make games seem a lot better, graphics does not equal better games. Games that are not broken by all the crap that's shoved into them. Ubisoft. EA. Games that are not ruined by that stuff are enjoyable. Those are the only one. Like, that's why a lot of indie games have been so praised lately, and people have been playing a lot of those because they don't have to answer to those 2 companies and don't have to, oh, here's a single player game. Here's Tomb Raider. Oh, well, we'll give it multiplayer. Oh, now nobody likes the game anymore because they can't. Oh, DRM free? I don't know what that means. So I just feel that this VR just isn't being introduced at the correct time. It is a good idea. It is a very good idea, and I do not knock them for trying to do something like this or develop the technology, but it is just not time yet. I don't think it's what the people are looking for. I really don't. But we'll see. We'll let it speak for itself when people are answering with their pre-orders. But I also feel that Overwatch's beta access codes were more sought after than the DK2 or whatever. Maybe it's just the part of the gaming community that I'm a part of that wasn't really up Oculus's ass to get these DK2s. I don't know. I just feel that, there were so many more videos out for Overwatch, and there's so just because it was so exclusive and whatever, people just wanted Overwatch more than they wanted the Rift, and the Rift had so much hype coming out. It's like, oh wow, a VR kit that actually works, because we're not even going to talk about the Virtual Boy. So this is great, and they just released it too early. They did the press release too early, and we'll get to that in a sec. But my opinion, and I know I said that 100 times, but here is my opinion, that the only people who will buy this right off the bat for those kinds of prices are the same kind of people who bought HD TVs at release for around $2,000 just to say that they have one already. It's the feeling of being there from the beginning and watching it grow. Unless you're some hipster douche who likes things other people don't have, like appreciation for hipsters. And if you want one, great. If not, no big deal. In my honest opinion, the hype train left the station a long time ago, like I said earlier, where they just released it too early, and that's what another huge issue with the gaming industry is right now, where they announce stuff like a year and a half, 2 years before it's actually released, and then people just suddenly don't care about it when it comes out, because it's like, you had me, and you just, and then you tried to rush it out because we wanted it so bad, and now we have a shit game. Batman Arkham Knight, I'm looking at you. But I just hope that the Rift also doesn't fall under this category where it gets announced. But they've taken their time with it, I can see. But it's something that should take time because it is relatively still new. So we'll just have to... I probably will not pre-order it. I will not because I don't have that kind of money. But if you do, all the power to you. And once there are more games out for it, it'll probably come back, like influence-wise. but I don't see that anyone cares right now. Like, even the people that are talking about it, they're just like, eh. I don't see people flooding Facebook with like, I just emailed Oculus, hope to get my Rift or whatever. Like, beefing up my console or my computer so that I can get a compatible working computer for Oculus. Like, I don't see that. I really don't see that. And I just don't see a large community of influence right now for this pre-release, pre-order, whatever you want to call it. But if you have used one before, like the video. If you've liked it and you've tried it, like the video. The Rift DK2 or the Vive, if you've gotten your hands on one or whatever, if you tried it at a show or something, and let me know what your experience was in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story. I'd love to hear your take on it, what your thoughts were, and where you'd like to see it go, where you think it's gonna go. But anything will help. But like I said, me personally probably won't be getting one. And if you do, I wish you the best of luck. Let me know what you think. Come back, revisit this video in the future, and let me know what you think. So, and who knows, maybe I'll get one and I'll do a follow-up. But anyway, thank you for listening to my ramblings. I've been Tony the Happy Stingray, and I will see you in the next adventure.